Make it special. Make it Maloney.
Port Jeff Pulse, still broadcasting from the Brookhaven room. No, we're not the Brookhaven room.
No,
What's
we're
this
at the
called?
Harborview room.
You know why? Because we can see the harbor.
Brand new, newly renovated, modern coastal design Harborview room.
Wow, you said that right.
With
Very
a beautiful
impressed.
Christmas tree in the background.
Very impressed. Now, we're doing an artist spotlight with two artists today. We have Chris Alexander and Marge Governale of the North Shore Art Council.
Guild.
Guild.
Guild?
North
Is there
Shore
a difference
Art
between
Guild.
guild and council? I guess there is, yeah. Well, I
They're
know...
They're going to tell us what the difference is.
They will. I just want to say that I know the Guild. I actually used to go to the meetings when I thought I was an artist. No, speaking of visual arts, I think I documented a few on film under your ex-president, right, Melissa?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that was in Miller Place High School. Did you used to have meetings there?
Yes, we've now
See?
moved to the
I have a
Rose
little bit of
Cafeteria.
history. But I completely respect your organization because we love artists. As a matter of fact, you guys probably haven't seen this.
Yeah, look.
We had an artist on 2 weeks ago. Within 2 weeks, he created these
Wow.
two. Is this amazing? He's a welder or metal sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
And this was done just so beautifully. He surprised us. His name is Cruz from Cruz Studios. So we appreciate the arts.
I guess we have to come up with something.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Well, if you'd like a background
So now-
here forever, it can't do you wrong.
I just,
Max should have a painting in his car.
yes. So what did you submit when you went to the meetings? Were you submitting like paint by numbers or something? What were you
No.
submitting?
I truly was there to document
Okay.
these meetings
All
for
right.
Melissa at the time.
Okay.
We were, and we did. We got a lot of buzz for you, and that's always the challenge, isn't it, in the arts? And I know you two want to talk about some things you'd actually like to tell the public about and other artists about. So, Marge, we'll start with you. Tell me about the organization first.
Okay, so we are an art guild that was established in 1991. It's designed to work with artists of all levels and every discipline. And our goal is basically to to bring the community in and to be involved in exhibitions, critiques, workshops, and fundraisers, which is something that we would like to discuss today.
And in a word, you promote art. You really do promote art as a visual, you said.
Yeah, it's visual artists, and we promote it, and we try to give artists opportunities to sell their art, and just to also raise money for different organizations that sometimes are related to the arts.
So, like being an artist, you always hear about this. Sometimes you're just very into your art, and you're just doing your art. Like even Cruz, who did these, I went into his studio. It's this dark, dingy place, and he works there, and I respect the heck out of that. And so, I think what you're doing is also bringing people out to, hey, there's other artists that want to share what they do. And so tell me about that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm fairly new to art, and one of the first things that I did when I started painting was to join this guild, and it has been wonderful. I've only been a member for little over 2 years, and I am being exposed to a lot of different things, specifically through the meetings. We meet once a month on a Monday evening.
Okay.
And
Where do you meet these days?
we're meeting at the Rose Caracappa Center in Wading River.
Wonderful center.
Monday.
In Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai, I'm sorry. Monday evenings, 7 o'clock, the first Monday of every month. And we do a variety of things when we get together. One thing is, which I have benefited from, is critique. Basically, it's maybe I would call them the senior members of the guild, or an artist who is not in the guild comes in, and the artists that are interested in this bring in their own artwork, and these senior members or artists critique it, and it's a group critique as well.
That's tough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's tough. Now, that's interesting because art to me is always so subjective, but you're telling me there's specific rules in which something can be critiqued. I would think,
absolutely.
right? Yeah, okay.
I have gotten a lot out of it because I'm,
You're open to it.
I'm open to it, but it is very scary. I have to say, the first time I was terrified.
I bet.
Until I realized how much I got out of it, and now I love bringing art down there, and
And because of that, you improved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I learned art.
As a matter of fact, I had a piece that I was struggling on, and I brought it in for critique, and I was I had been painting it for about 6 months, and I didn't know where to go with it. And the person who led the critique was very helpful, as well as members of the guild who also, and they gave me some great information. And I took the painting back, and I was enthused about it again, and it actually won an award. After I
what a
finished it.
great story.
Yeah.
That's so
So it was
cool.
very, very exciting, and it was, it gave me a lot of confidence, which is something that I struggle with because I'm still new to this, and
Right.
so I love it.
Chris, how long have you
Awesome.
been a member?
6 or 7 years.
Okay, so longer.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and so, what have you seen in terms of membership? I'm sure, like any other organization, people come and go. But tell us about some of the things you do to keep the art, the people that make the art, their art alive. I know there's some events coming up in Stony Brook and whatnot.
Well, first of all, when I first started, we had less than 100 people. Now we have over 140 members.
Wow.
So over the last several years, due to the hard work of many of the members, we've raised the amount of membership. A lot of times the people come to these benefit fundraiser shows that we put on, and they join. And then they come to the meetings and become solid members.
That's great.
So
What are some of the top three benefits of becoming a member?
number one is probably the input you get and the support you get from the other members. As Marge said, the critiques are so important for so many people because you can sit in front of your canvas and stare at the canvas for hours going, where do I go from here? What do I do? And you bring that piece in and you get so much input. You can choose from and reject what you want. I'm an abstract artist, so majority, probably over 100 of the members are realist painters,
Okay.
or sculptors. And so they really can't help me with when I struggle with abstraction like cubism. They can't really help me. But the last time I brought in a piece, I didn't know how to finish the outside. In the middle was an abstract sailboat race. And around the edges, I didn't know what to do. And one of the members said, you know what you could do? You could take little cards with color on them and place them all around the edge until you come to a color that looks like the right color for you.
Wow.
And that's exactly what
And
I
that
did.
worked.
I went home, made all these little swatches, laid it around, found out which one I liked, and then finished it.
Wow.
So once every so often, these pieces of art are exposed at the location Stony Brook, you were saying, right?
Yes. We have a gallery called Expressions Gallery in the Holiday Inn on 347 in Stony Brook. And every 2 months, we have a member show. And it stays for 2 months. And we have a theme, and people submit them. We put them up, and then they're for sale. And about 2 or 3 weeks into the show, we have a reception. And at that reception, we have artists donate paintings, and we raffle them off. And then all the money, plus 30% of any of the whatever an artist gets, they donate to the Stony Brook Children's Hospital.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So over the years, we've raised $20,000
That's
for
amazing.
That's great.
So that's something that we really would like to get out there so people could come, be part of the show, and buy the raffles and help contribute. And
Right.
we always sell art there. So the artists, the members, get to put up their art and sell it, and that's a real positive for them because there aren't that many places these days you can put your art.
And our exhibit right now, we have an exhibit hung there right now, and it runs from now through February 12th. But the opening reception is on January 25th at Holiday Inn Expressions Gallery. And the theme is the natural world. And Christopher and I both have works in there, as well as 20 or 25 other members of the Guild have work there right now.
And
Okay,
it
so
runs from 5:30 to 7:30, and the Holiday Inn provides beer and wine and cheese and crackers. So if you're, in need of a drink,
it allows you to enjoy the art that much faster.
that's great.
And give a 7, a 10 immediately.
Exactly.
I'd also like to mention that
Yeah.
every year we do a benefit fundraiser at the Port Jeff Village Center. And we pick a theme, I guess you would say, a cause. 2 years ago, we did it for the Fortunato Breast Cancer Center in Mather Hospital, and we raised $22,500.
Wonderful.
Wow.
And then this year, we did one again for the art therapy program at Stony Brook University Hospital for children who are going through medical issues. They have an art therapy program that was in jeopardy of being closed down with lack of funds. So we did a show there where we sold art. We also had raffles and all kinds of donations, and we raised $12,500 for them.
Nice.
Wonderful.
That was 22,500
For the,
for the
The art
children.
therapy,
Yeah, art therapy.
program.
Fantastic.
Wow.
When we talked about the visual arts at these expositions, are we talking about paintings? Are we talking about sculptures?
Yes,
Are we
Cool.
are we talking about digital art?
yes.
Yes.
Are we talking about photographs?
Yes.
Anything else I'm missing?
No.
Some mixed media art too, you know.
Where some
So
peop-
like watercolors and acrylics, oils, mixed media.
on a palette of some type.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are some people who take photographs and paint over it.
Wow.
There are people that paint and then cut out things and make a collage out of
Would
it.
there ever be art now? We're in the age, is why I ask. You know, you have a 4K high definition television, for example, or a screen, and that art was made on that screen. Some of these pads are coming out with actual digital palettes. Have you thought of that? Is that okay? Is that a
It would absolutely be acceptable and encouraged. It just so happens that we just don't have anybody at the moment that is doing that. But if they did,
We're a pretty inclusive group, I'd say.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you know, I think it's because I just tried some of the new iPads, and they're moving towards that. Have you tried it yet?
Yes.
Yeah, for somebody that's talented. Obviously, I'm not in that regard at all. So
I'm going to tell you that every
I'm telling you,
artist-
I've been drawing, but I
well,
can't do anything.
every artist I've
Oh, I'm
ever met
terrible.
has always said the same thing.
Really?
Marge will tell you that. I will tell you that. Mac will tell you that.
It's just a matter of practicing and just like anything else that you
Is
do
it?
that you're good. Oh, absolutely.
No, but
There's always room for
It
improvement.
always seemed to
and
me it was a natural thing. Like
No.
you like
Yeah, well,
kids
you
in
need to
school, you're
just
like,
have that creative mind.
Try to think about an athlete. Now, there are some athletes that are absolutely, without a doubt, gifted. But the majority of them aren't gifted. They're just hard workers.
Eli Manning, I think, is a good example.
Yeah, he's a
He's
hard
not
worker.
very athletic,
Yeah.
but he comes from a great family of
Yeah,
athletes.
line of
and
that, right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good example.
Well, I was born in the Bronx, and I came out into Long Island in my 20s, and I always wanted to sail a boat.
this is the place to do it.
Well, but I had no idea how to do it. So what I did is I bought a 16-foot day sailor with a little 5-horsepower engine, and I went out in the Great South Bay and pulled up the sails, and away I went. And it was like, this was the greatest thing in the world. The only problem is I didn't know how to turn around. So I had to drop the sails, put on the engine, and come back. And I came back, and I went to the, quote, sailors that I knew, and I said, so how do you do this turning thing? So they told me, A, how to do it, and B, they said, there's a thing called the 3,000-hour rule. And I said, what's that? And they said, if you spend 3,000 hours at something, you'll master it.
That is fantastic.
So I said, okay, so I did that, and eventually I started bareboating in the Caribbean in 60-foot, I would rent 60-foot sailboats and sail around the Caribbean with my family and friends. So when I decided I was going to be a painter, I did the same thing. So for the first 5 years, I couldn't draw, I couldn't do any of the things that you're saying. But eventually, after 5 years, I learned how to do this.
I would definitely agree. I
That's
have a
uplifting.
brother and a
That's
sister
uplifting.
who they always said, Marge, you're the artistic one. Because growing up, we each had our thing, and
Okay.
they didn't want to touch art because I was the artistic one. But because of my recent re-involvement in art, 2 of my siblings have started, and they said, I can't draw a stick figure. And excuse me, both of them are starting to create, and they're loving it. I mean, you know, they're just,
It's pretty cool.
And drawing may not be your thing.
yeah, it's not necessarily that skill. It's maybe a different skill. It's an eye thing, what you see and how you.
It's funny sometimes how you see musicians cross over to that art. You know, I think one of the Rolling Stones is involved in something with art. It
The
might
drummer.
be- right, yes.
The one
Paul
that-
Stanley from Kiss does some great art. I've seen it. It looks great.
Yeah.
But the 3,000-hour rule, I've heard that. It's so true. So when your kids tell you you can't do it, you got to say, come on.
Well, that's the thing. A kid, you think about babies, can't do anything. And then years later, through schooling and practice, they become proficient at many things. So adults stop thinking that way. They think, I've already learned everything I can learn. This is all I can grow. And then they
Good
pick
point.
up guitar and they strum it a couple of times. They put it down and said, I can't play a
Yeah,
guitar.
that's true.
But 3,000 hours later, you'll play a guitar.
Yeah.
Less than 3,000. Now, if you really want to be good enough to be able to play all kinds of things, you're going to have to spend more time on it. So for me, it was trying to create things, and I couldn't make things bend. I couldn't make them turn. I couldn't get any depth, and I kept it up and kept it up, and eventually learned it.
Do you think there's truth to learning something at over 30, for example?
Absolutely.
It's harder?
Oh, no, it's doable.
It is still
Oh,
doable.
I think so.
It's
yeah.
harder because it's psychological.
It's psychological.
People feel like,
You got to pay mortgages.
and you're
It's a time
Well,
thing.
and patience, right? You
Yes.
have to have the patience and the dedication and the commitment to stick
Right.
when
with
you're
it.
raising kids and you have a job and you have a house.
Absolutely.
When do
So
you
maybe
get
it's
to
just
paint?
that, yeah.
Well, that's exactly what happened. When I was younger, I was artistic, and then when life got in the way and I didn't do art for literally 30 years.
Yeah.
I just put it to the side, yeah.
Oh,
And so just a few years ago, I started
But it always crops up, doesn't it? 'Cause
well,
I mean,
it's
know
if
me
you
with
have
the
a
guitar.
passion,
Yeah.
like a love
Pick up
for
the
it,
guitar.
it comes back,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Just
But
it emerges. It emerges.
I would say to people out there who are listening who think they either have a talent or want to have a talent, they should really consider joining our guild and coming
Absolutely.
to some of our exhibits to see. I think that it may seem intimidating, like there's,
Artists there,
there's
there's
artists, and I would say that come and see if it's something. You'd be surprised because there are levels of all types of levels. There are some that are newer ones, and then there are some that are much more experienced that are either making a living or are educators that are in our guild, and you can get so much out of it, So
That's great.
How many photographers do you have as part of the art guild?
I would say I can, off the top of my head, 20.
So a lot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we have a living example sitting right in the room here. I don't know if he's trying to hide or anything, but Mac's work, Mac Titmus, is just, I love it so much. And it's truly artistic.
he's the president of our guild.
Yes, of course. And I have to mention his name because, one of those things when I look at his photograph and everybody says, it's just a photograph, especially with iPhones around. It's just, no, it's truly art.
No,
And
I don't think his work is photographs.
It's not. It's art.
So much more
It's
than
digital.
it's a digital painting,
He puts
really.
layers of images on top of layers.
Right, but it starts with the photograph at
Could.
some point.
Could.
It can, right? So, I mean, that's a whole genre. I admire that so much, and I always have. The moods that someone like Mac has been able to create through his images are great, right?
I
Moods.
think
That's what
Mac
art
is also an example of Marge and I as well, of a person who does not have any training. Learned this on their own through trial and error, but wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to do this. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't paid attention to different programs you can use and learn things from other people.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, he doesn't have a degree from Parsons School of Design.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of us, there's a lot of artists who just have the passion for it
Mm-hmm.
and then remain open and listen and take the critique.
Do you have any friends that have local art and like a local eatery or diner or a little breakfast place? Do you get that?
Yes, we have a lot of
Many-
artists that do that.
Yeah, I like that.
Many members of the guild have
I like
gone
that
into
too.
that.
Also libraries, a lot of libraries.
Right.
Here in Port Jeff, I know we have a member right now at the Sachem Library, and he's a photographer. And his name is Vito Marone. And Vito does nature photography, and his big thing is Yellowstone National Park.
Oh,
so
wow,
he's got
cool.
some amazing stuff at the library right now.
Yeah, and there are many other artists in our guild that not only exhibit with our guild, but they exhibit all over Long Island and some even further, with at different galleries or different exhibits. So they,
And Mac just came back from Miami. He was at the Basel, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, art fair down there, which is huge. And he was down there. So we're branching out all over the country.
Is that where that picture came that we put on our website?
Don't
From?
know. Don't know.
Oh, with
Well,
the palm trees?
Yeah.
Yep. Must be.
Yeah.
It must be. We'll show it in the background.
Yeah.
That was really beautiful. So we can't say it enough. Let's talk about, first of all, what's the website for the North Shore Art Guild?
Go ahead, Marge.
Up.
NorthshoreArtGuild.com.
It's pretty much is, right?
yeah.
Straight
Okay.
ahead.
That's
And
him.
the next dates that our audience would like to look
That would
forward
be
to?
January 25th at the Expressions Gallery from 5 o'clock till 5:30?
5:30,
5:30, 7:30.
Okay. And in
And then
between
the
that
meetings.
time,
And then the meetings are on the first Monday of every month. Our next meeting would be
January 7th, I'm going to say.
Yeah, whatever that first.
All right, so we're in December now, so we have some things in
8th,
January. People have
9th?
plenty of time.
It's
Yeah.
January 9th.
January
January
9th for the
9th.
meeting at the Rose Caracappa Center in Mount Sinai.
And they can also go to our website to get information.
And they go to the website, but also, they could, right now they can go to the Holiday Inn for the
Yes.
exhibit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like right now, today.
It's hung and, yeah.
Okay.
Every day of every year, there's art from either us or a group like we just finished. We had a week where we brought in art from autistic students from BOCES. And for a week, they put their work up on the wall, and then we had a reception, and people came and buy their art.
Love it.
And members from our guild went there
Yeah.
to show support and, you know.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So John Tunis
Okay.
must love art.
He does. He's
There you
the,
go.
the main guy behind this. He's always wanted this. And it used to be done by other people, and that person decided they didn't want to do it, and he reached out to us, and
Wonderful.
we chose to fill that gap.
Great.
Yeah, you always
It's
need that
awesome.
support. Well, fantastic, guys.
fantastic.
Anything else you'd like to mention today? We'll make sure we underline it in text, what we're talking about with the dates and whatnot. But I want to make sure you didn't forget anything that you did want to get out there.
No, I think that our message is we're a great organization that has been so important to so many people. For example, Marge mentioned her experience. My experience was the same. I was doing my art, and one of the members from the Art Guild saw it and said, "You are really good. You need to get out of your closet here and bring it out into the world." And I did, and I've been selling art for
Ever
years
since.
now.
It's
And
fantastic.
the last show I was in, I sold
Congratulations
5
to both
pieces.
of you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Fantastic. Yeah, send me a few pictures. We'll show those in the background, okay?
Sure. I would
All
love
right.
that.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.